Hey, what's up, guys? It's Art Book Addiction here, and we're here with a new video. So today, we're going to be doing critique number 2, guys. All right, same as before. We'll be doing 3 people. Okay, obviously, least skilled to most skilled, only contained within this video, right? Um, for those of you who already got critiqued, I recommend if you do continue your work and you do implement my critique, please send it again into the same link, right? So that we could do kind of like an update video, right? But yeah, so 3 people, same as before. Let's get into it. But before we start the video, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. Check out my Prince and Patreon if you want to support the channel. And with that, now let's get into it. Alright guys, so our first artist is V Drawing. It's funny because I have a cousin named V, right? That's a funny coincidence. And we're just gonna, take a little overview of her work, right? As you can see, she's trying to do like, a little bit more realistic heads. Yeah, see some of these are okay, right? But still, she's clearly, in the beginning phases, right? Here we go. It said I had an anime drawing phase, but now I'm switching to portraits and leaning to realism. Okay. So let's take a look at the piece that she wants critiqued right here. Okay, very nice. Okay. So, these are they're a little rough. Okay, they're a little rough. As people start out as, right? They're gonna be on the rougher side. Okay, but let me take a look real quick. Okay. So what I would say is working right now is that you could tell that like most of the features, right, are kind of there. You know what I mean? Like they're visible. You can read like the hair from the chin. There's nothing that's like too like crazy out of place. You know what I mean? Right? So this is important because like a lot of artists, right, they'll think that like because their drawing looks wonky that like they're super wrong and like it's just off, right? But that's not the case. Okay, a lot of the times it's just moving a couple things a little bit in this way, a little bit that way, right? And then you'd have a much more solid piece, right? And that's the kind of critique that I'm going to be giving V right here. Okay, so I would say that for this face right here, it's like this is like it's mostly working, except for a couple things, right? So like this eye right here, you'd want to maybe move that a little bit more to the right. Okay, move it a little bit more so that the corners of the eyes kind of meet right here, right? Same thing with this nostril, just move it in a little bit more, right? Obviously this, as a beginner, structure is gonna be something that's kind of like something that's not really known as much, right? So I would say, for you, obviously you need to build upon the structure, but that just takes practice, right? And some of your other work is a little bit more successful. I would say like this one is a little bit more successful, right? This girl right here, a little bit more successful. But I could see that you're trying to draw the structure out right here, right? And that's good. That's all good. So remember when you're drawing these faces that you need to keep that structural integrity, right? And then I would say that you need to compare the angle of things with other things, right? This is a good way. This is an easy way to measure, right? So let's see. You have like a pencil, right? You have like a pencil, right? So a good way to figure out where things are and where they belong, right? So let's say like, okay, so I'm gonna look at right here. See this? See from the corner of the eye to the corner of the nose, right? And I'm gonna use my face for comparison because you know I don't have like you can only see that, right? So, right? So if I have a pencil right here, okay, and I'm looking at the portrait, right? The reference, right? And I'm like, okay, something seems off, right? And you don't know why. Okay, well that's the time to implement measuring. Okay, so and also angles, right? So from the corner of my eye to my nose, right? So if you were to draw me, right, what you would do is you would get your pen, right, and then you'd measure, right? You see, like, okay, so see like that right there, that's the angle, right? And then you just right, and that's like kind of like a reference point, right, for you to figure out, right? And then the other side, right, from my eye to my nose, right? And then you use those measurings for everything, right? So like if you're like, oh, I don't know how this chin is curved, right? Just get the flat, right? And then just figure out, there you go, that's the angle I put down, right? This angle, same thing, that's what I put down, right? See the hair right here? Hold on. So you figure out the angle, okay, and then boom, okay, and then you build on like flats, like straight, and you do this for like everything, right? And you're like, and it really helps figure out those strange angles. You know what I mean? And once you have those things like relatively, you know, sound and like measured towards each other, and you're like, okay, you also want to do like proportion, right? So it's like, oh, so like, okay, for example, so my nose, right? So like, if my nose is, sorry, it's kind of hard to, is like this long, right? Then I compare this to like, let's say like my eye, right? Or, okay, so actually my eyebrow is the same length, right? So now that you know that this is the same size relative to the nose, right? Then you can correct accordingly, right? And you do this with everything, and this will improve your structure, okay? This will make your work stronger, but you're getting there. You're getting there. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they beat themselves up over, you know, like these little mistakes, but for some of these portraits, you know, it's working, you know, but you just need to make a little more adjustment here and there. Do a couple, like, you know, measure it out, angle it out, right? And you'll be there, right? And yeah. Good luck on your artist journey, right? If you do update your work, you know, send it again so that we could do a little update video, right? Okay, first critique done. Awesome. Okay, so we have our second person right here, and this is YK2K Illustrations, right? I kept thinking Y2K every time I looked at this, but yeah, dude, YK2K, all right. Alright, you can see they are an aspiring manga artist right there. You can see some pages, right? Awesome. You know, and they're getting there, right? You can see that they're working on illustration, and that's in character design. It's a, which is one of the more difficult things to get into, right? Okay, so, oh, from London. Hey, dude, nice. Awesome, dude. So many European viewers that I have. All right, so he wanted me to take a look at his manga, right, and then make some critique based on it, right? But let's take a little quick look, right? I'm not gonna look at the whole thing, obviously, but you know, we'll just scroll through it, right? Okay. All right. Okay. Nice. Yeah, that's a good background right there. Okay. Ooh, look at that drama. Damn, dude. Okay, so all right. Here's what I'm noticing. Here's what I'm noticing right now. All right. So, um, I would say that this person has a very like your environments are like surprisingly like wow. You know, I'm like that's pretty strong. Okay, like I know people who are like much further along, but their environments aren't like as expansive like this. You know what I mean? I'm fairly impressed with what you've done here. I don't know if you're using like because this looks a little 3D, but I'm not sure, right? But the rest of this looks pretty good, right? But your environments are pretty good. Um, the way you're paneling is pretty cool too, right? I'm actually very impressed with um, the paneling that you're doing right now. Like, it just like what I'm saying is like the layout of the panels, right? Um, obviously, okay, obviously, the thing that you could really work on is figure, okay. Figure is it's probably the weakest part of your work, right? But I gotta say, I am really surprised at look at this thing right here. That's impressive, right? Um, I don't know. Is this 3D model? I don't know. Yeah, if you're not using a 3D model, like then I'm really impressed by your ability with like perspective and stuff because this is nice. Look at this train. This is great, right? This is actually for a lot of people much harder than being able to do figure correctly, right? So I would say that your environments are working. Okay, they're impressive, and I'm actually very pleasantly surprised. Okay, the figure is where the work needs to be done. Okay, obviously you're going for a little bit more an anime style, right? So I want you to understand with an anime style, um, there comes like for it to be pulled off successfully, right? It requires like a good knowledge of anatomy and clothing. Okay, those are like some big emphases, right, on anime faces, right? Not anime faces, but anime characters, right? The faces could obviously use some work too, right? But all I got, like the clearly the effort is here, okay, and that's what I'm really impressed by. Okay, the amount of work here. This is not easy. This takes forever. You know what I mean? Doing something like this, even for someone like me, would take forever, and I'm really impressed by the workload. Okay, so um, so what I can see, what I can see with your figure, right, is that you're not drawing the structure. Okay, right. I saw from your earlier drawings that like what they're built upon. So this is another implementation of the structure needs. Okay, so um, with this guy, right, like let's just use this as an example, right? So it's just like with the other person, it's like almost there. It's almost there, right? It's like not quite there, and that's where like you get a little bit of that feeling where you're it's not quite there, right? So how do we fix that, right? Um, I hate to say it, but you want to use the like mannequin method, right? That's the easiest way to explain it to you, right? Where you do like you draw the circle where the thing is, right? And then you draw the thigh, right? You draw out the hip, right? So the idea is to get underneath and figure out the structure, right? Where you draw like the torso, the rib cage, right? You draw the what do you call it, hip, right? The hip box, right? And then you do you almost do like a stick figure kind of thing where you draw like the bones, right? Where it's like from hip to leg or to knee, from knee to ankle, right? And then your foot, you know what I mean? And then you do the same thing right here, but you also need to do basically like with figure, it's all about the relationship between the torso and the hip. Okay, the torso, the top portion and the bottom portion, that relationship is what makes a figure feel dynamic, right? And feel like it's working. You know what I mean, right? So you figure out that relationship, right? And from what it seems right here, it would seem like he should be more like okay, so the shoulder's going this way, right, and then the hip is going kind of like this way, right, or I guess this way, yeah. But if that's the case, then this would be more like, you know, like stretched out, and then this would be more pinched, right, kind of like that, right. Um, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Your work is pretty impressive, right? Um, Obviously, you know, if you're trying to go for an anime style, it still needs some work, you know, but we're all getting there, right? We're all getting there. So, um, I would say, like, work on your structure. Okay, work on your structure. Plan out the like, you have to do the tedious work, okay, where you're like, you're drawing out the circle for the shoulder, circle for the other shoulder, right, making the top torso, bottom torso, connecting it, right, you have to do all the annoying stuff, okay, right, all the structure stuff, so that when you build upon it, you have a sound figure, okay, right. So I would say that right now, your the stuff that works, your environment, they work because, and your props, they work because they have nice structure, okay. But your figures could use some more structural integrity, right? And to do that, you need to have like, you know, like I said, just draw like do the mannequin thing, right? I know it's annoying. I know it's a pain in the ass. You want to get straight to the detail, but you got to have the patience to get there, and I think your work will improve immensely, right? And when it comes to anime faces, right? What I recommend to you is to look at anime you like and use it as kind of like a reference for how to do the style, right? I'm not saying like copy their style. I'm saying like look at what they do and compare it to your stuff, like when it comes to like the faces, right? And figure out like what's the difference, what's not working, what's working here and what's not working here, right? And then you can kind of like meet in the middle and then figure out like what you want to do with an anime face, right? Okay. Very impressed. Good stuff, dude, right? Keep at it, dude, because you got some immense potential right here. But yeah, I'm really impressed by the amount of work put in, and like, you know, just that you're willing to do something so ambitious. You know what I mean, right? And your environments, wow! Like, I'm actually very, very surprised by that. You might want to be an environment artist. Who knows, right? You never know how it works, right? On this artist journey, right? But yeah, good luck to you, YK2K, right? If you do more work, if you implement the things that I say, and you feel like you want to submit again, go ahead, and I'll check up on you, right? Okay, awesome. Second person done. Okay, so we have our third artist. This is Visionary Wind. Okay. Vincent Nguyen. Okay, very good. Another fellow Viet, right? Shout out to the Viets out there. Let's take a look. So, I gotta say, pretty impressive stuff right now. Pretty cool, right? The figure is there. You know what I mean? The structure is there. And look at that! Oh wow! Look at that! Look at these paintings, right? Very, very cool. You know, as expected from my Viet brethren. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's take a look at the piece they want critiqued, right? So he sent me this one. So this is like kind of like a process video, right? Of the Spider-Man. As you can see, there is pretty good amount of skill being right here. You can see the structure. He's building out the environment. This takes a lot of work. Okay, this is a lot of work being shown right here. He's got multiple figures, right? Very, very impressive. He's doing pattern work, stuff like that, right? And you know, like I said, I'm decently impressed, right? Okay, so he's wondering. Okay, so I wish I had like a full one right here. This one kind of like, the video is is a little, messed up a little bit. Okay, so we get the full one right here, and we get like a partial right here. So I don't know which one's the more final one. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, this seems to be the more final one. Okay. Let me see if I can pause it in the right spot. Yeah, I wish they had like an actual like thing, like a scroller. Yeah, I was using reference. Very good. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can catch it. Okay, base colors good. Okay, light and shadow, very good. All right. Okay, this is low quality. I'm just gonna go over to this one, right? Because it's a better view, but also like we could still see some of the. We can still see the things that might be working or might not be working. Okay, so I gotta say, very, very impressed. Okay, I'm very impressed with the work here. The figures there, right? I don't know if you're just, using reference that like you're just drawing the body straight out. But even if you are, right, like this, like it's still pretty impressive what you're doing, right? The lighting is... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, thank God. All right, okay. So, let's see. All right. So, I see the problem right away, okay? The issue right now is... This is an issue that is, very, very common with digital artists, when they're... Not when they're starting out, but, like, when they're... trying to figure out themselves, right? So what I see is a lot of soft overlay lighting, right? I get it, okay? I get it. I've done this before myself, right? Where you see most of the... honestly, this piece can really, really work if you just turn off the overlay layer, right? And what you have to do is you have to paint the light on, right? So this person is, I would say, very, very strong in the beginning phases, right? Where you have like, structure, you have good figure, right? Dynamic posing, right? Pretty good composition, right? That's all working, right? But a lot of people, they struggle, if they're good at those phases, they struggle with the render phase, right? So that's what I could see right here. I would say that the issue right now is there's too much softness, okay? Too much softness in the lights, right? And even in the shadows, okay? So let me see if I could like zoom in real quick. There you go. So there's just it's just too soft. So you can see right here, like that you lose a lot of definement, right? So when you're doing stuff like this, right, you're trying to shade the other side and like stuff like that. That's unnecessary. Okay, unnecessary. Try to do two-tone. Okay, like anime lighting, right, where you have the lights and then just a very a sharp shadow, right, where you like I could almost see it that you did it before. Okay, but see right here you cranked it up because you thought that might be the solution, but that it wasn't the solution, okay? When in fact you should be cranking it down, if anything, okay? So, yeah, see, it works. It's working right here, because and you're hiding this part, which is like not the best, right? But so I would say if you're using Photoshop, you have to use the overlay tool or the whatever you're using to create the kind of halo effect, right, on the side. You want to use that very sparingly, very, very sparingly, okay? If you want to add a little glow, that's okay, right? But very small amount, okay? So what you want to do, what you really want to do, is to turn off the overlay and then paint the light, okay, in a way that's like you can almost do like I said, anime lighting, where it's very sharp, okay, very sharp, That's the thing that's missing right now. We need to, like, when it comes to light and shadow, it's very, it's very easy to smooth things out too much, right? But that's not how life is. Life is, there's form shadow, and then there's cast shadow, okay? And the two mixing together is what makes things feel a little bit more realistic, right? So, you see right here, you see this guy. The reason why he's working a little bit better, right, is because he has less tones going on, right? This is almost like if you get rid of like this, like, backlight right here, it's almost like one tone, almost like just barely two tone, right? And that's why this guy's a little bit more successful, right? With this guy, you got like right here, you got light here, you have light here, and then you have light in the shadow, right? And that's why things are like kind of like becoming like tinfoily, you know what I mean? So, calm down with the airbrush, okay? That's what I gotta say. Calm down with the airbrush, right? Use a hard brush to put your colors down, okay? Right? So if you make this entirely flat, okay, like the whole shadow section right here, just one flat color, right, and the other side, one flat light color, right, then it could work, okay? So to make it simpler for you, right, here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna say. There was a stage right here. Hold on. When you made these guys very like flat color, okay, and that works, okay. At that stage, get your multiply tool, right, and set it to 100% opacity, right. Figure out what shadow color you want, right. You're gonna have to make it lighter because it's gonna multiply, so it's just gonna become the darker version of whatever, right. So you kind of, so for this, I would say use like a purple, because you got afternoon lighting, right. That would work, right. A very light purple multiply layer, okay, right. And then you go in 100% opacity and figure out the shadows, okay, right, and then you don't even need to almost paint the light, right. You just need to put the shadows in, right, and then after that you put those shadows and you make them solid, okay, two-tone like an anime, right. After that, then you come in with the light, okay, right, and then you don't paint outside the line. You keep it in the line, okay? You keep your line visible, okay? I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a digital painting, okay? But your line work is more solid, okay? Keep the line and keep the shading within the line, okay? So that there is a hard edge, okay? See, you paint right here. That's not necessary, okay? Not necessary, right? Remove that, okay? Paint within the line, okay? And if you want to have that rim light, just get a light color, right? Like this, like you can use the same yellow right here, okay? This on the edge right here, and then just paint it on the inside of the edge, okay? But you keep the line work there, okay? Because that's the solid foundation that you're working on, right? But yeah, but most of your stuff, dude, it's working really well. I'm very, very impressed. Okay, this is very strong. Okay, it just needs that little touch, and it'll be there. Okay, this one I would say, hey, dude, make those changes, dude. Make those changes. Send it to me again. I really want to see it. Okay, because this is very good. All right. But yeah, and you know what? The shadow thing, the multiply layer thing, apply that to the background too. Okay, so that it all unifies, right? Get rid of this light right here. It's too bright. Okay, it's distracting from the piece. All right. You see right here, this all these like little trails. Don't do that. It's unnecessary. Unnecessary. It's just adding flair to nothing. Okay, and you don't want that, right? You want solid, beautiful artwork. But this is almost there, and I'm pretty surprised with the results. Okay, very good stuff. And I think that's the third critique complete. All right, awesome. All right, guys, that was 3 more people critiqued, finished, right? If you guys want to send your work, I will be leaving a link below for you guys to send me your work. As always, there's rules, but I'm just gonna tell you guys the rules. Send your profile and send me a piece in particular that you want me to critique. Okay, if there's something that you're like, I don't know exactly what's wrong or like how I could fix it, that's the kind of piece you want to send me, right? Those of you who have submitted your work already, please, if you improved your work, if you implemented the changes that I suggested, send it again so we could do like a little update video. Okay. Yep, I think we can end the video here, guys. Please, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Check out my prints and Patreon if you want to support the channel. Ring that bell for notification. All that bullshit. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.